Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Spinner Act. Today we are doing a audio commentary on Thor Ragnarok. Yes, this is one of the top Thor movies there ever was. Well, actually, it's only been three, but yeah, this is the top one. It grossed over $850 million. And what did it do? It cemented Hemsworth as the Thor of our era. So, of course, along for the ride, as always, is the boys, Petey, call it out, Petey, and, of course, our man himself, Superman's number one dude,
Calvin
Cal.
Ellis, ready to rock.
So, guys, when you first heard about the whole Ragnarok movie? What was your take on it? What was your thoughts on it?
Oh, when I first saw it, I saw the word Ragnarok, and my heart got excited. I was like, "Oh wow, this is cool, Thor Ragnarok!" And I immediately go back to those wonderful classic issues written by Walt Simonson and that run he had leading up to Ragnarok. And then I remembered, oh, not with this Thor. The Thor that they decided to do for the Marvel Universe is nothing like the Thor that Walt Simonson was writing. So I'm not going to see that story. So I just threw all my expectations out the window, realizing what I was probably going to get, and but just made myself open to it and realized Ragnarok was, just a working title. That's all it is. Let's see what they do.
They kind of revealed who the villain was going to be in Hela. And they had a thread that was happening at the end of the Dark World that was like, well, how are they going to resolve this? Because, it seemed like it was pretty big. It was a strong ending, so I was like hoping for the best. So I'm hearing this, and it's kind of becoming jokey, and we kind of felt it was going to be like that. And we'll see how it goes from this point.
Well, yeah. The opening there, I thought was a strong opening because, you have the hero in distress, but he's calm, so obviously he must have some way out of this. We, the audience, are more worried about his situation than he seems to be worried about his situation. Almost like a Bond. It's almost like a James Bond opening, if you will. So I thought the opening was pretty good.
Well,
I said, yeah, I always agree. I thought the opening was very interesting. But once I saw the opening, I realized this is not the Ragnarok I was expecting. Thor was definitely being more jokey than normal in the other movies, and he was, this is the Thor that we saw sometimes in the Avengers. I said, this is not going to happen. And especially when they said that I thought Surtur was going to be the main villain, and they make it Hela. I was like, but then I thought, hey, she may be related to the whole Thanos movies coming up. So I said, probably there's a reason why they're introducing her, but it turned out to be a one-shot. Petey, sorry about that.
I kind of struggle right now because I was like saying, this is making Surtur he's kind of minor right now. Like the Walt Simonson story is like, it's it's subplot between like 14, no more, for like almost, it's like 17 issues. It's a very long story, and we got this for the intro, for the jokey intro. I was like, I remember when Thor all was lost, fighting him in Thor 351. So I'm just like, what? He's having this jokey. It's not going to be as big and immense as what I hope it to be. He should be the best. You were saying, I thought he should be the main villain.
No, you were right. That's who I thought was going to be the main villain too. So the way they got rid of him was very disappointing.
Well, we got to let him get to that. Let him get to that. You don't want to jump the gun. We're doing our commentary. You don't want to go before this stuff.
My apologies. So here we have him and Thor getting it on and stuff like that. Thor's captured. And what is Surtur going to do? What is Thor going to do?
Did you say getting it on? Pause.
Well, they're getting it on, but you're going to see what's going to happen.
Pause again.
Well, this Thor is closer to Marvel's Hercules because he's a little more jokey.
Yes, very good, Petey. I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah. Well, they don't use Hercules, so that kind of explains it.
Yeah, they got this guy, which is a fun Thor, but I think Simonson would pick his spots for Thor's humor. Same with Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and this one is just like.
Well, no, I mean, Hercules. This is Marvel's Hercules, and of course, Marvel's Hercules. Marvel's Hercules is no. I'm not saying that to be corrective of you. Marvel's Hercules is diametrically opposed in character to Thor, because Thor came first. Thor was the big character. So Hercules has to come across and I mean, this was over time. When you first see him, he's not quite the Hercules that we become familiar with. But Hercules is a skirt chasing, you know, fun loving, you know, rather, you know, just wants to have a, you know, drink, wants to fight, that type of dude at the end of the day, as opposed to Thor. Because most of the time we see Thor, he's got stuff to do. You know, he's trying to save the planet or save Asgard. Hercules shows up and he's just like, hey, I want to be in a movie. I want to chase this girl. Let's see how much drink we can have. He's like, oh, you want to fight? Let me show you the gift.
Yeah,
now
look
that
at
guy is,
now.
and that's much closer. That's much closer to the Thor that we've seen in the films. Now, this film, to be quite honest, would have been closer to the type of Thor that we were used to, because Thor in the comics is usually saddled with some sort of responsibility. It's either Odin's trying to prep him to be king, or telling him it's time to become king, and he's like, nah, I don't want to do it. Or he's on Midgard and he's got problems there, or he's torn between the two of them. So he's got, you know, usually a bunch of stuff to carry around. This Thor that we've seen in the films, not quite so much until we get here, where okay, he is going to be presented with some of those challenges, and we see how he reacts to them. But mind you, he doesn't really get those challenges until about the third act. You know, the first act.
Well, I mean, that was a great battle. We totally missed right there, right?
Yeah, we gotta keep it short.
Yeah, this battle we just missed was fantastic. Well, this is the problem that I had with that scene, was that you have Sir, who's one of them. He runs his own realm, and yet he's easily dispatched by who? Thor. You know, and I that was like, well, you know what? This is definitely not going to be the movie we expect. And this is where the Taika Waititi.
I know you want to get it in, but we got this guy, and he's not jokey. Like, how did he become jokey? So
I know. No.
The execution is not jokey.
He's not.
Now I thought this was going to be.
But it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. Yes. There's nothing we can say. We're look, if we're putting on the discussion on the Walt Simonson stories, that's one thing. But in terms of, you know, is it enjoyable? It is. He's enjoyable. This is one of the highest grossing Thors there. We're having a good time. There's some funny moments there, you know,
and it establishes, again, we have a very solid opening that is there to establish Thor for us once more. If you hadn't seen a Thor film before, if you were just coming into the Marvel films for the first time, this establishes Thor, okay? You know, God, very powerful, his weapon of choice, his weapon that is almost synonymous with himself. He's able to take on these situations where he would seem to be totally out of his depth, and he's still pulling himself out. The importance of the Rainbow Bridge. So we get a lot of stuff in those early minutes to establish Thor, Asgard, the importance of certain things. We get a lot of that at the very, very beginning. Now, if you're someone who was with all the Marvel films, okay, great. This is just think of it as a wordless exposition, if you will. You know, just a quick reminder for yourself. And, you know, we also, you know, we got to, I mean, again, I thought the opening was very, very strong. Okay, really, like a classic James Bond opening, where you're put on the edge of your seat at the beginning, okay, and then you get to cool off a little bit when he goes to go see Moneypenny before he gets the next assignment.
Good point. I like that analogy. What's your take, Pete?
Oh, no, I'm just sticking with this is good. So this is the other thing, that him fighting the dragon. That's one of his biggest moments, is him fighting the Midgard serpent. And I was kind of like, well, I don't know if they could do that story now. So it seems like that story's off the chart. Surtur is kind of off the chart now, but you get some fun here.
Yeah, it is. You know, and it's Taika Waititi who's the director. You know, I think that was one of the things they wanted to bring into this. You know, they wanted to bring a more lighter tone than what past stories. Like the Dark World was dark. You know.
But it has some jokes in it. He puts his hammer
not like this.
He uses a hammer on the hook.
The Dark World is not dark.
I think it's dark.
The darkest thing about the Dark World is the title.
The elves.
Now this is supposed to be
were doing
right now. This should have been a big part of the story.
Real quick on the Dark World, the character they use, Malekith.
To be really quick, really.
Okay.
Quick.
The character they use in the Dark World, Malekith, Dark Elf, and if you had followed along with what they had done in the Simonson stories, yes, but that's not the road that they went. The Dark World was another romp for Thor. Now, moving right along.
Oh, this is so hilarious. I mean, oh my goodness. Thor comes back to Asgard, and what does he see? A statue of Loki. And there's a reenactment with Odin relapsing, talking about the story of the death of Loki. It's just hilarious, but there's a catch to it,
I don't know. That's a little too far for me. But,
what's the catch? Matt Damon?
You heard that line there? That's a line to key in what story they're pulling from. It said, "Turned you into a frog."
Build a statue for me. Big statue for me. With my helmet on. With the big bendy horns. Father, what you did here today. You didn't do it for him. Do it.
Well, but also you get to see Odin in a little more different than we've seen him before.
Oh my God!
Know what's going on. Well, we know this can't last.
Of course.
Don't you laugh.
And so Loki died of his wounds, giving his life for ours.
Okay. Well, I was disappointed with Odin, so I'll leave that to you guys.
This is that Sam Neill?
Many moons ago, I found you on that frostbitten battlefield.
Yeah,
that is Sam Neill.
All these classic actors in here in this scene, wasted.
Oh my gosh, I did not realize that.
Baby bicycle.
Well, you got Matt Damon, you had Sam Neill. Who played Thor? Was that anybody or just an actor?
It has to be. I'm not sure. Damn it.
I could tell you. Hold on a second.
And for future, you can just look it up. You don't have to let people know that we don't know or that you're looking it up.
Thor has returned. Greetings, my boy. It's an interesting play.
It's like sort of is a hood ornament now. That hurts me.
Indeed, they should. Oh, I like the statue. Not better looking than he was when he was alive, but a little less weaselly, less greasy, maybe. Do you know what this is? Oh, the skull of Surtur. That's a formidable weapon. Do me a favor. Lock this away in a vault so it doesn't turn into a giant monster and destroy the whole planet.
So we're given, again, we got some differences here. Surtur is not what we got from the comics. He's more of a elemental force that can be reignited. He doesn't die so much as he's ignited, and he's not so much defeated, okay, as he's extinguished, waiting to be reignited.
Yeah. It's definitely the strong point here. And this, I was about to get mad about this one too.
All while you, Odin, protector of those 9 realms, is sitting here in your bathroom eating grapes. Yes, well, it is best to respect our neighbor's freedom. Yes, of course. The freedom to be massacred. Yes. Besides, I've been rather busy myself. Watching theater. Well, board meetings and Security Council meetings. And they're going to make me do it. Do what?
Now this
You know that nothing will stop me.
is another story
Not even your face.
turned into a bit. It's like
Another Simonson story as well.
Another Simonson story, which was a heavy moment in the story.
Ha! Loki.
Yeah,
So that was the reveal.
And I recall the story as well. Thor had thrown his hammer and was holding Loki in his hand and said, "Look, if you don't drop this spell and change me back from a frog, you're gonna be dead."
It wasn't that one. It was one where Lorelei and Loki had overly possessed Thor, and
that's right.
Totally controlled by Lorelei. So all that story's gone.
No, it's not gone. It just
They
you can't use it
do
the
it
same
in the
way.
movies.
You can do
Well,
it.
probably could do a TV show.
Oh, shut up.
You never know.
The way that Marvel works is that you'll do it one time, you do it a second time, then it becomes a thing. It's like, are you going to hold me in one hand and wait for your hammer to come back? I've heard you like to do that.
Well, you heard this is not good. I don't like these jokes at all. No, here, this whole setup was fun. I was okay because I always liked the Thor and Loki scenes. The movie-wise, it's not the comic stuff where they play them more as brothers, where Thor, there's some bits that Simonson added in, but these scenes were okay for me.
Now, that's something you can touch on, okay? In the comics, okay, in the films and in the comics, we know that Thor and Loki are brothers, more say brothers of circumstance than brothers of love. They grow blood rather. they grow up together, so they know each other, and they're treated and regarded to as brothers. However, in the actual Norse myth, I believe they actually are brothers, like half brothers or something of that nature. Where if you've read the myths, Odin sires Loki through one of the frost giants, and so they actually are blood relations. Now, I don't know if this is one of the main strands of myths, or if this is one of the offshoots, an outlier myth, or something that's apocryphal. But I thought I would throw that in there for those people who didn't know that and haven't read the prose edda. Back to you, Petey.
Well, now we got some cool moments with, of course, our favorite Doctor Strange. But look at those gloves. Get him some better gloves.
What's wrong with the gloves?
I don't see
they look like they're
taking something out of the frying pan.
Not cool.
What's wrong with the gloves? They're the same color. Those are the same color gloves that he has in the comic.
No,
What's the wrong with the gloves?
There's the color. They don't have the spots that are on there. Look at them. It's just like
You want spots on those gloves?
You don't look good. I want them to look like what he said, like fireman's gloves. They look
fine.
They do not.
So what do you think about Doctor Strange and Thor together? I thought I was really impressed with Doctor Strange. He was able to hold his own, this time.
We're done with the gloves?
Yeah, we're
say about them. They're bad.
They're awesome.
Oh my gosh. Gloves.
Go ahead, Mario. You can answer your own question.
The gloves are bad. I'm sorry.
No, the question you posed, man.
This him drinking beer is cool too. I like that. We saw bits of that before.
I just like the interaction between the two. I think definitely that the actor who plays Doctor Strange, to me, he really comes alive. I think the first movie I had some difficulties with it, but he does a great job as Doctor Strange. And one of the things that impressed me is he held his own with all the other superheroes who've been around for a while in Infinity War. I thought that was a pretty good job. So yeah, I was very impressed with him. I thought it was, especially here with the whole interaction between him and Thor regarding Loki.
No, I don't have a phone, but you could have sent the electronic letter. It's called an email. Yeah, do you have a computer? No, what for?
But we know this Thor is not exactly the brightest match either. So.
Tell me where he is. I can take him badly. He's in Norway. Seeing whether this incantation requires any Asgardian modifications. Nope. Oh.
Look at the gags. Look at the gags.
What gag?
He's talking about the gloves again.
No, Thor hitting all those things, and he bounces in there and he hits into some books. Those gags.
How do you like that electric magic?
I liked it very fine. I liked it very fine in Doctor Strange. It has a lot of bearing right now for me, though.
It kind of reminds me of those little tinsel that you have during 4th of July, and you light it, and you get. I'm not too crazy about that.
That's fine. No, I wasn't thinking about that.
Oh yeah, right.
There you go. That was cool. Playing around with time. Oh man, I was like, oh man.
Thank you very much. Handle me.
Oh, he touched the glove.
Now this blade thing, is that something from the Norse myths where they use the blades a lot?
Not that I recall.
No, I mean the only two people who have real weapons that are synonymous with them, one is Thor and the other one is Odin. Everybody else, they may have something or other, but it's not of such prominence. So they're just doing this here. But that last scene I thought was really good at establishing how far Doctor Strange has come since we've seen him in his own film in terms of mastering more of the mystic arts, even though he's not Sorcerer Supreme at this time, if I'm correct, but he seems like he's really grown leaps and bounds since we saw him in his own film.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely getting into the universe. But here, to me, is where one of the weaknesses of the movie shows up. With the whole Odin It's time to go. I just couldn't see it,
Because they made Odin a crappy father, unlike, what they had done inside of the comics, which I didn't agree with at all. In the first, especially when you have Anthony Hopkins over here, I don't want to say he was wasted. I mean, but that's not the Odin. That's not Odin's character. You go to the first film, and what is he dead set on? He wants to make certain that Thor is going to be ready, okay, and able of being king, and the king is going to be this really large responsibility. He wants this so much that he's willing to exile him to Earth with no powers, so he understands what it means, to be truly heroic, and that involves sacrifice, even if he has to make the ultimate sacrifice. We get here, and it's almost like, well, I'm just going to abdicate any responsibility I may have. It's just time to go. I'm like, what are you talking about? What was all of that stuff that you were talking about in the first film? And the bottom line is, hey, Anthony Hopkins was probably like, hey, you guys got me for about 20 minutes worth of screen time, and then after that, I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, but you see, there's a bunch of tragic consequences because of this. What happened with Odin, the fact that Thor doesn't take on the responsibility of king, they have Valkyrie taking on that responsibility, and you're like, what the hell just happened here?
Well, they shouldn't even be worried about king because they're sitting in some, they're sitting in some offshore spot. Just then, there's no reason to have a king. They're just like, they might as well become.
It's worse than that. The king is still there. Odin is still there. There's no reason for him to leave. No, nothing's happened.
More issue with it that there's no real reason for him to actually go. He's just like, you know what? I've had it.
No, I got to come out.
Odin doesn't just die. Odin is so powerful, and the fact is, look, it's okay if you want Thor gallivanting throughout the universe. That's one thing, but you need a strong leader who understands his responsibility, which is
he's like, I'm out.
Oh,
he's leaving.
It's not Odin. Odin's out.
No, I'm just saying. But now he's out. So, but then here he goes. Might as well then give the kingdom to Loki, for whatever he's doing, because at least he wants to be king.
You should, give it to Loki, somebody who actually wants to sit on the throne and do the work. Even
Thor can't trust him.
Huh?
Thor can't trust him. There's no chance.
Yeah, but Loki actually wants to do it. So, Loki may start off a poor king and grow into a great king, as opposed to somebody who just doesn't want to do it. I want to ride on the ship with the Guardians of the Galaxy, or Odin, who's like, hey, it's time for me just to turn into Sparkles. Sparkle on, dude.
Well, in the recent Ragnarok that they had in the in the comics, where you have Loki, after the end of the war, basically what happens is that Thor gives Loki the land of the giants, and he's the king there, but he's not even there. He's usually hanging out in New York, partying and doing stuff like that. So, I don't know how good of a king he will be.
Just got the classic slam the umbrella down to get the hammer.
Oh yeah, I saw that. But, it's supposed to be hidden.
Now, all right, guys, we got to remember this Marvel movie. Things happen quick, so the comments got to be quicker. We got to get too much stuff happening to do like we do the DC stuff.
Okay, here's a question for you: Was Kate Blanchett really in that outfit, or was that all CGC? Because that thing looks painted on.
It looks good. I'm saying it is her.
It's her. I'm saying Kate Blanchett came in, and I was so happy because I'm like, wow, the things that are going to happen.
What? You were happy she? All right. Oh, okay. I see what you're getting at, Mars. I see what you're getting at. Okay.
You forget what I talked to you in the reviews of the Endgame and stuff like that.
What's going on with these blades?
That's right, baby.
It's the precursor to X-Men swords.
Oh, that's it.
The question is, why does she show up, right?
Because he's the villain.
Because they ran out of villains.
Because they're saying she's the sister.
She went from being Loki's daughter in the comics to Thor's sister.
And true heir, and more powerful enough that she could destroy the hammer.
Well, destroying Mjolnir, that is an Odin level feat.
Exactly.
Now, before we, this is a great.
Oh, this is hot. This is a hot look.
Yep, that's her in that outfit. Now.
I like the fact Loki just kills it.
Cal brought up some of one of our older episodes where he talked about that Hela her true power is in her realm in hell.
Yes.
So how does in this movie they're just like she's just all powerful.
Exactly. Allah's all powerful. That's it.
No,
There's
because a lot of this stuff she's doing just shouldn't have happened. Her riding the Rainbow Bridge up, and it's just not supposed to be. It's just not supposed to be going on. But they just decided they were going to make her this really powerful villain, which I mean, if you can write the story well enough, okay. Other than that, you write yourself into a corner because you're like, well, this guy's so powerful. There's no way you can take him out. And then they end up doing like the Joker stuff, where you kill him by knocking them off a cliff, and they fall to their death, and you never see them again. You're like, that's how you beat them?
Now, this is some big stuff. These are Thor's best friends.
his companions, yes.
There's
And
no-
he has a mop. A mop. I'm like, what?
How would you like it, Joe?
Oh yeah.
Well, she took out the Warriors 3, but to be honest, that's no big deal.
It is a big deal. They're his best friends.
Those are Thor's best friends, but that doesn't, at the end of the day, they look in terms of like Asgard stuff. Yeah, they've got a good reputation, but comic-wise, these guys don't really amount to too much at the end of the day.
They're the B Squad.
When this book, Thor was like the third popular book, they were saying that the Warriors 3 were taking away the spotlight from Thor. They were that fun and that loved. And
hey, they got a couple of solo stories out of it as well. But that was then, and this is now.
It has nothing to do with anything. You don't just kill people and then that's it. It's just like, yeah, and then Thor has barely a react. Well, we have to get to that later. But this is kind of retro. This is pushing two stories together.
It's because the Warriors 3 in these films aren't really his boys. The Warriors, his main boys.
We got through that. We got to go to the next scene. We're going to the next scene now.
Oh, that's malarkey. Okay.
How long are you going to go on in these things?
Until I'm done.
No, we have to go moving.
The question is, how does the Rainbow Bridge?
We need the story to get here.
And that's the key, the cut. And they have to make us believe that by being cut off from the Rainbow Bridge, he lands in a completely different world. I mean, not even the nine realms. He's like in some place totally different, which you would think, it's probably one of the 9 realms that connects the whole Bifrost and everything.
You can't be thrown off the Rainbow Bridge. It's not like you were driving on a highway. Once you're on your way, you're on your way. There's nothing. You're not supposed to be able to be pulled out of that. But movies are different.
He got pulled out like almost to another system.
This is also taking another Thor story, but it's turning into a Hulk story. So basically, it's supposed to be Thor with the freaking frogs in Central Park, taking them to another world, and they got him on this funky world. So.
Well, this is once you get to this world, this is the Hulk story of Planet Hulk, which is which is a reworking. It's more of a reworking of some other Hulk stories, but it was a very popular Hulk storyline. One of the best written, rather, one of the best Hulk storylines out there. So why not? If the Hulk's gonna be in it,
say that. That's a little
yes, we can.
stretch.
Yes, we can, and we will.
That's just a battle. That's a battle board book with something they've done 3 million times.
No, that story for the Hulk was very restorative because they were doing some awful stories with him before that. Peter David was off the book. That book was meandering. The Hulk was getting his bones broken by the Sentry. It was just some really bad stuff. And that, at the very least, grounded him and reestablished him as the character he was supposed to be, if nothing else.
I don't know.
And here we are introduced to Valkyrie. She's coming through drunk, walking down the gangplank, and falls. She can't even hold her balance. Valkyrie, one of Odin's supposed great warriors.
I don't know who that is, but that's not Brunhild the Valkyrie from the comics. So
I know, but
if that was her,
she was
if that was
later. Val was later.
If that was Brunhild, yes. This is a new character, so she can be drunk as a skunk and fall. We've never seen her before.
Yeah.
But this character, she keeps with the same theme that we have from the beginning. Everybody is running from their responsibilities. Things got tough, time to run. Odin's out. Thor's out. The only people who want the throne are the bad guys.
There's a reason why we shouldn't have it. The good guys don't. There must be something there. They don't want the responsibility.
It's like that. You ever read any Yeats? You ever read Yeats' poem, "The Second Coming"?
No.
The best lack all conviction, while the worst are filled with passionate intensity.
Nice.
Okay, everybody who should be there, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm filled with doubt. And the other guy, but the evil people, they're certain. They're like, nope, this is mine. This is mine, and I'll kill as many people necessary to have it.
Yeah. So this is a garbage planet, right? So this is a planet that there's just a bunch of junk. People are here. And it's really more a combination of different stories. So we start off with at least the beginning of Ragnarok, and we'll probably get back to it later. But this here we have is the whole thing, I think, is more of an entry to get us into the Hulk, right? We can say that. I mean, we're not spoiling anything. Petey?
What do you want me to say?
Oh, I thought you were going to say no, right?
No, I'm okay. I'm just saying, I'm just looking at this scene. It was just an odd angle. It's almost like what rappers say, Ishin on top of the game, that whole shot from her being up top, her legs spread open, and then looking down at Thor. It was kind of an odd setup to show her power in the scene. So this is like, all right, she's just too far powerful. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. But this is one thing I'm glad you saw. You saw the scope of the city and everything, right? Just remember this at the very end. How big the nation is, how big the people are, all the things that are going on. And remember what happens at the end, okay?
It's supposed to be a planet, isn't it?
It's supposed to be. So realm is humongous, you know? And when we see the end of Endgame, what the hell are they? You know?
And there we go. We got Hogan the Grim.
Yeah, that's not Hogan the Grim.
That's our trade-off, because they couldn't do some other Asian character, so they gave us this sort of Hogan. And he's not really, well, at this point, he's close to being grim. He's been the happiest character in these Thor movies.
Hey, but that's not him. That's just how he's written, bro.
I'm saying the name. His name is still Hogan the Grim. So when he comes and he's partying, he's hugging, that's his title, Hogan the Grim.
No, they needed to get Hogan the Grim as written by Walt Simonson. Hate to bring him up again, but there was this great scene with where the Warriors 3 they meet this cat, and he's pretty much like a rapscallion at this point, and they're saying, look, who's it, Fandral and Volstagg are saying, look, we were young and we understand you being stupid and we could forgive you, but Hogan was never young. And then you see just this close up on him. That's Hogan the Grim. But anyway.
It's a cool battle. She kicks their butts, that's for sure.
Kick their butt, just totally decimates them.
Yeah, sure does. But remember, she seems to be working on Odin level power. That's and it doesn't. They don't explain why that her versus what they do. They say
if Odin level power, you don't need an army like this. If you Odin level power, Odin can do it himself. So
yeah,
Odin level. Well, see, one, they never showed Odin doing anything aside of the little blips of power that we got from him. And two, Odin is powerful enough. He doesn't need to do anything hand to hand. He could literally just tap his staff, and that would be the end of it.
Yeah, but bad guys have to get their hands dirty, bro. Come on. What's the fun? I mean, but this can also explain, by them getting rid of Odin, that explains why he wasn't in Infinity War and trying to stop our friend
you don't
Thanos.
want Odin in that movie.
Anthony Hopkins had a 3-picture deal. It was up. That's that.
No, but I'm just saying, I think some of the thoughts are, you have Odin. Why didn't Odin get involved? If Odin's not on the table anymore, then hey, it makes a lot of sense.
Ask those questions as far as these things, because he didn't get involved in the regular Infinity War.
Yep.
So it's like once you start asking those questions, why weren't the X-Men there? That sort of stuff. It's kind of hard to do when you know, the story is about the characters they have in it. Now this thing was the ultimate and the wackiest stuff ever. They're like, we can't lose one of these guys. So the guy who's least connected, we're gonna have him running around. Now this part, they totally, we know it's Planet Hulk, but at the same time, they're totally going, which they did in the trailer, the Flash Gordon from the 80s.
Well, did they have the music? No.
No music like it.
Yeah.
Hearing the rock music all through this stuff, so they're trying to give you sort of that sort of feel.
Why haven't they remade Flash Gordon? Flash Gordon.
Well, now people are going to get upset with it, but here we getting the colors, we're getting all this stuff, some cheese.
And no one loves you more than the Grandmaster.
Ooh, and the Grandmaster.
I didn't see any cheese.
All this
What kind of cheese are you talking about?
is cheesy.
Oh, I thought you meant cheese. You know, proper
No.
cheese.
No.
Well, I thought it was good. It gave us a good background on what's going on, so and understanding where he is and what he's doing.
Grandmaster wasn't that great a character in the comic books. He just sort of you know, let the games begin sort of character.
Yeah, but hey, he's still memorable
Who? Jeff Goldblum?
from the comics.
No.
No.
Look at that.
Proud of him.
Crazy. He's in the scene and everybody's around like he wasn't anywhere. And there goes Jeff Goldblum. And once you see him, you're like, oh gosh, this is another comedy.
Wasn't it? He's supposed to be one of the elders of the universe, and he's the least one of the least memorable. Of the elders of the universe, the one that everybody remembers is the champion. Other than that, everybody else is pretty much catch as catch can.
Collector.
And then the outfits they're trying to be, well, this one, no, this actually, the girl over here, her outfit is Kirby like. I would give this one that, but then they go with the wacky colors. They don't use sort of Kirby's color palette. They just go to the comic book standard color palette. But this one is very much Kirby. I give it to that. Some of this other stuff is more Flash Gordon in the back.
Ming the Merciless.
See how it gets kind of plastic over here and kind of big budget Tromaville? Like this one really tried to push the big budget Tromaville. And with him, Lord.
Hey, this lady. Just wait a damn minute. I'm not for sale.
Yeah, I think she had a lot of fun with that. With that bit. They kept doing it.
Transfer the units.
As if you believe that Thor could actually be shocked since he's the god of thunder.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to know. Who are you? I am the god of thunder.
Sure. But for some reason, he's susceptible to electric shock.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think you're going to like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you stronger.
Fine, you won't even hide?
Who is this actor?
I don't know. In the back, it's really getting 70s, so late 70s Kirby, like Eternal stuff right in the background.
I can see.
But see, like the colors, it's a little too much. They're pushing it.
Is that Bill Burr?
It's not Bill Burr.
I can't see. He's too small for me. Well, he's gone anyway, so I guess not. Okay.
His outfit is terrible. Ugh.
Why are you worried about the outfit, man?
I'm saying you can't make it cheesy. They're trying to go for they're
going for the cheese. It's okay. It's a
It's
comedy.
not okay.
Sorry to say, PD,
Look at
when it's
this.
comic books, as much as I hate to admit it, cheese is an element of comics. Especially once you get them to TV or film. I don't know what it is, man, but a lot of guys just take this that there's got to be some element, not of humor, but cheese, corn.
No, I'm saying you can do the outfits like Thor's outfit. Like, okay, here we got it. Of course, this is a good moment too. Seeing Loki over here. Like he's got a real outfit. He's got a real outfit. Everybody else is cheese.
Get me out of this one. Get me out.
It's the planet of Kemp.
I just got here.
So do you guys believe their relationship as brothers?
This one was more to it. This one, they played them a little different, which I was happy for at least, because most of the time it's just Thor having blind faith in Loki and Loki kind of stabbing him, literally stabbing him. And this one kind of turned it on its heel.
I've never met this man in my life. He's my brother. Is he any kind of a fighter? You take this thing out of my neck and I'll show you. Oh, listen to that. He's threatening me. Hey, Sparkles, here's the deal.
Hey, Sparkles.
Asgard. Any contender who defeats my champion, their freedom they shall win. Fine, then point me in the direction of whoever's ass I have to kick. That's what I call tender. Direction would be this way, Lord. Ah, Loki.
And there goes Taika Waititi. The bunch of rocks.
Rocks waving at you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually a thing. I'm a being. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Cork. I'm kind of like the leader in here. I'm made of rocks, as you can see, but don't let that intimidate you. You don't need to be afraid.
Was this character in the comics? I don't recall.
Yes, but he was in the Planet Hulk storyline.
But he was he a jokey character?
No, he was not.
That's the question I want to know.
How'd you end up here?
Oh, well, I tried to start a revolution, but didn't print enough pamphlets, so hardly anyone turned up, except for my mum.
We even
Tried to start a revolution, but I didn't turn out enough pamphlets, so no one turned up.
already had comic relief. The whole thing is a comedy.
Well, that's the problem. Most of these characters that you're taking, I forget what the name of the stone guy over here is, but the insect guy, Meef, is actually a pretty duplicitous character in this Planet Hulk storyline. But if you play them like they are from that storyline, then they're out of whack with this story. You know, you can't have 80% of the stuff that's going on. So, you know, they just come in and they provide some jokes, and there you go.
Everyone who fights the Grandmaster champion perishes.
You made rocks. Perishable rock. Okay.
Yeah, no, I just do the smaller fights, warm up the crowd and whatnot. Wait, you're not going to face him, are you?
Yes, I am. Win. Get the hell out of this place.
That's exactly what Doug used to say. See you later, new Doug.
No.
We're back to hell again.
We need get the cape. Move the cape. The cape has to go.
What's wrong with the cape?
It's blocking everything.
I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean, Petey. Would you like to be more? Would you like to be more explicit?
I
No,
don't.
I want to be more explicit. No.
Peace treaties?
No one was talking to you, Mars.
Proud to have it. Shamed of how he got it.
Oh wow! Look at this. What happened? A little, you know, we're gonna do a little renovation, and what we find underneath all of that?
We find the truth. Odin was dirty.
Oh, sweat! It looks like what's the name? King Thor. No, that's Odin. Oh, look at this.
Who's that riding? Oh, riding on a wolf, no less. The Fenris wolf. It's Bella.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Oh, so that comes later, though. That comes later.
And she has the
Mjolnir. She's holding Mjolnir. That's Thor's weapon, or so we thought.
Page man.
Before that, Asgard's warriors were honored. Their bodies buried as heroes beneath this very palace.
Yeah, I kind of liked her, you know, and I thought that she would have been a much more important character in the MCU.
Yeah.
Nope.
They should have stuck with her.
What for? There's a whole bunch of villains they could have stuck with, and those guys went by the wayside. I don't see why she needs to be here.
Look, she knocks down the gauntlet, right? Right, but I'm just saying that's what we thought she would be doing. She would be death. She would be the representation of death as to why why Thanos did what he did. And
No,
then
if you wanted her to be, if you wanted to do that story, then you have to go to her realm, which is hell, okay, and then you can, tell that story there. But once you have her sitting on a throne in Asgard, it's a totally different thing. Hela in hell, okay, all the stuff that she's doing, that's extremely, without a doubt, plausible. That because she's supreme in her own realm. You challenge her in her own realm, yeah, and she ends up kicking your butt. That's because she's there. Once you take her out of that, though, she's not as powerful. She's more of this localized power at the end of the day. But you want to doing all this stuff over here in Asgard and crushing Mjolnir and such, so you can't have that story. Think of the story where, literally, what if it was that Loki was dead and Thor found out that, look, he could actually get him back, and he spoke with Odin, but he would have to go to hell in order to bring him back. That could have been a really good story, great story, but that's not where they wanted to go with it.
yeah.
So he's hiding all these people that, oh yeah,
That
that's
goes.
what I'm here for. And this goes into the other story, but it's instead of Thor going to hell, it's hell coming to Asgard, which showcased the executioner.
And we see him being.
The executioner story wasn't too bad. It wasn't as, not as good as Simonson, but not too bad. Don't worry about it, dude. There's no Valhalla anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't want to sit on the throne, Odin doesn't want to sit on the throne, why do you think those Valkyries are going to be there doing their job?
They introduced the Valkyrie before, didn't they? In the first movie?
When they were saying the origin of like Asgard and all that stuff, they may have.
No, in the very first movie, it was
not
Valkyrie. It was the other what's her name? Lady Sif.
Yeah, but she's not a Valkyrie.
No, that's what I said. No, that's why I said no. Not that. It did somebody else instead.
No, you weren't clear.
And what happened to her?
Well, this time showing instead of him running into Loki, this time he already knows he's just a hologram. That's what so it's a big moment, because in the Avengers he keeps running into stuff instead of saying, all right, I know this guy does these tricks. He's a trickster.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just have to go to
and one other thing about Tom Hiddleston, I'm really interested in seeing his new Loki show that's going to be coming on in the Disney Plus channel.
Mm-hmm.
Here, this guy has turned his role, who I figured probably just out of one or two movies. He's been in quite a few now, right? So it's pretty interesting. He was able to turn that out. How many other villains have been able to do that? Very few. I think.
What other villain besides him? They kill everybody else.
Thanos. That's the only other person they've been able to do that with.
They killed Thanos.
Yeah, but the point I'm just trying to make is that he's been on multiple movies and multiple MCU projects like Thanos. What else?
Loki's the only villain who was the major villain inside of the story and survived. Thanos did a whole bunch of cameo appearances, until he finally was brought center stage. And once he was center stage, he bit the dust, no pun intended, like all the other villains.
Can you clean up the weapons once you finish your fight?
The villain who I thought they should have never gotten rid of, who they could have used extensively, was the Red Skull, and they got rid of him in the first film.
Well, there's even more issues with that Captain America film, but that's one of the big ones. Oh my gosh! Some more jokes.
Oh my God! The hammer pulled you off.
The ground pulled me off the ground up into the air, and I was flying. Every time I threw it, it would always come back to me.
Sounds like you had a pretty special and intimate relationship with this hammer, and then losing it.
It's a nice way of putting it.
I said they're mine.
That's the one that put me in here.
Yeah, script for 142. So watch out for those Asgardians, man. They are
Oh, wow. We needed to get that bit in.
You didn't know she was an Asgardian, it seems.
Of course not.
Hey. Do not zap me with that thing. I just want to talk. Asgard is in danger.
Oh,
I call you a Valkyrie.
you got a tattoo. Oh, sorry, Valkyrie. You got your Valkyrie.
That's right, because all the Valkyries get tatted up.
Sometimes a little too much. Not in a creepy way, just more of a respectful appreciation. I think it's
Now that's a
What
Star
did you-
Wars
What did you think of that tattoo,
robot
Petey?
that looks like, there's a Star Wars robot that looks like a Kirby robot. So I just want to say, it doesn't look like an ordinary tattoo.
What? No, what? I'm like, shouldn't it? It wouldn't have been nice if it had done something that actually looked Nordic, like some runes or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're trying to do the Kirby effect that's been in all these things, which is kind of a
Kirby,
oh,
Kirby would have used
how's he
runes.
gonna fight when he just got shot?
So you're gonna tell her.
I tell you, I mean, they must have discussed it. She really liked that bit. They kept shocking him.
Oh, no, he didn't fight yet. All right, good. All right, good. But these colors, these blue colors, like this is like, come on, why are they going body?
hands aren't as steady as they used to be.
Yes.
Beard, you shall not cut my hair, lest you feel the wrath of the mighty Thor.
Our man Stan. I need to see more reactions. Mars is over there sleeping.
I'm not sleeping. I'm here. I'm watching. I'm waiting for the fight, bro. That's what I'm looking for.
And I thought the whole bit with Stan was too short. I would have liked a little bit more.
This is what we
just dropped. He dropped the milk.
This is what we came to see, baby.
We got a little camouflagey drone thing. For what reason, we don't know. Oh, no, this chick again. I've had it with her. We get it. You're down on your lung drunk. Enough.
That's character development, Petey.
And now, without further ado, it's main event time. Making his first appearance, looks quite promising. Got a couple of tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah.
Say no more. See what you think. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Lord of Thunder.
Come on, this is what all offend.
Now, where did he get the red war paint, huh?
Because Stan put it on him.
Okay.
That was his style. He styled him. He was also a stylist.
All right. That should have told us something. It's green.
What do you mean? Everybody saw the trailer. Everybody knows it's the Hulk.
Hey, that's what we're here for, baby. So he's preparing himself. He's like, yeah, let's see what the hell's going to happen.
The only person who didn't see the trailer was Thor.
Now, why do they have a cheesy version of a helmet we saw in the first film?
Because they thought that helmet was cheesy. And so this is the improvement.
That is not the improvement. I was just like, well, they tried. And then I looked at the first Thor and I was like, there's the real helmet.
I don't disagree with you. You need to tell them that. They thought, no.
Telling them that.
Go ahead, write a letter. Write a
Boy.
letter.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a great scene. He's like, yo, this is my boy. He's afraid of. He saw Hulk and he wants to break out. He's like, yo, I'm out.
We know each other.
Run from work.
Now, they could have toned down the joke, and that joke would have been even bigger, but it was big in the theater. So what can I say?
Well, people loved it.
Except Petey.
No, that was okay scene. But
Lost my hammer, like yesterday. So
there's the Eddie Murphy scene.
Loki's alive. Can you believe it?
I was on the bus that flipped over 15 times. Jack Cates is going to fix my day.
Loki, look who's is.
Yeah. I'm happy to see you.
he's listening, but then what? His adulation is saying, what? I need to kick this.
No banner, only Hulk. That's what turned him off when he said that.
Bang!
And there it starts.
Yeah, this fight scene was fun. I gotta give it to him.
I mean, it's almost to me one of the best fights in the entire movie.
Swords. So the swords, all the swords extend.
It's crazy. I don't want to hurt you.
I don't want to hurt you. Here you find out really how powerful Thor is, you know? I mean, we've seen him many times, but just the brute strength, his power. That he could go one-on-one with the Hulk.
Well, we saw that in the first film.
The first film, he didn't fight Hulk.
Yeah, he did. In the Avengers film.
Oh, the Avengers film, yeah.
I was always asking, well, why did the Hulk just go and fight him? You know, he does know who he is. I didn't think that question was. Yeah, why did the Hulk just go to fight Thor? But I never thought that was successfully answered in the film either.
What, in the first one?
In this film.
He saw the lights and everyone cheering. He's like, I gotta fight. He saw him look up, like, Thor, but wait, my fans. Bang. Another throwback scene. There we go. For the fans.
Well, hey, fans are the ones who are going to pay. I love that.
There we go, another one.
I'm just a huge fan of course.
Can't take it. The adulation just drives him crazy. This was fun right here.
Run if you want to.
That was great.
Like I'm taking it apart piece by piece, but the Hulk is still hard to handle.
Until he gets angry.
Well, unfortunately, they never really did that in these films, where the Hulk got stronger as he got angrier. Because if that was the case, he should have been able to handle Thanos, but it didn't happen.
That is the case. That's right. Submit. Doing his BJJ on that stuff. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
This part here was just like, okay, now we're just going to change everything. And Thor's still in the air. Was he? He's back on the ground now. We didn't hear him land. And then he's, oh, well, smart. While he's in the air, jump and attack. Wait a second. Is this Thor's movie? It's not Thor's movie.
No, this is Planet Hulk. That's what it is.
Now he has to get a call from his pops.
See, now he's got to cheat and use the Odin power.
It's not cheat if it's part of you.
It's supposed to be hand-to-hand, fist-to-fist. This is not supposed to be, hey, I'm going to go use my electric energy.
Hey, if I can
and still be susceptible to electric energy, being shocked by it from the Valkyrie.
Oh, let's not, dude. You're clouding the issue with the facts now.
That little charger in his head should have been fried by now.
Now he's sort of looking like the Tony Danza Hulk when he took the helmet off, which bugs me. Woo! Oh, they call him Thunder. Wow. Like the one from Black Lightning. No, she's got a new name now. Sorry.
What's the name?
What's the new name?
You don't watch the show? She got the name. She's a new character.
No, I haven't seen it in a minute.
Oh, she doesn't go by Thunder anymore.
Thunder. Oh, you mean yeah, I know what Blackbird.
Thank you. There we go. But she's more like the COVID. She's a COVID superhero because she's got the mask on.
Well, she was more like covert, as she was being Blackbird. She was being Blackbird to, because she wasn't supposed to be Thunder. But once that was done, she was Thunder again.
What the hell? Wow, the Hulk to take any advantage he'll get.
Knock him out.
There's a resistance trying to
What's the point of ruling a kingdom if you don't have minions, huh?
What does it matter? She's this. Well, actually, she's supposed to be bringing these people to hell. Not, I want to rule here, but anyway, this is more. I'm doing it again. Sorry.
What I meant, what's your ambition?
I don't know why you apologize. I do it. I never apologize.
Recognition.
She's just killing that outfit.
Every great king
Go ahead, girl.
an execution. Not just
I took
Can
it
we
3
still
hours
say
to
that?
get.
Can we still say that out loud?
You just did.
What in one?
execute people. Still,
Hey, look, I'm with you because I'm looking at the outfit and I was wondering, is that her or is that CGI? Because that outfit looks like it's not given any room whatsoever to be put on.
Not a millimeter.
let's
It's hard to believe. That's McCoy, isn't it? Right? That's McCoy
McCoy
from Star Trek.
Yeah.
From Star Trek.
Yeah, that is. You're right.
So here we go. Going to the Bifrost.
good.
Yeah, he was also in Lord of the Rings. And he was also in the Riddick film, Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah, that is true.
To opening the Bifrost.
No,
Those people you mentioned, the ones who I'm following.
he is typecast in the fantasy, adventure, space opera genre.
Now, look, he's going to have, they should be easy to find because how many people he's got with him?
2.
Oh, he's searching. Okay, now I got it.
Hemdo, still around, baby.
Heimdall.
You can't get rid of the black guy.
Are you kidding me? If you get rid of the black guy, what happens to the Underground Railroad that he's running here?
Oh, please.
Oh, you just shut it off.
Much.
Oh, you didn't see that? You didn't see that, right? The guy who's over here, he's running the Rainbow Bridge, and now he's running the Underground Railroad. You didn't see that, huh?
Now
saw
you're
it.
getting on the speed with this. You're getting in the speed. They're getting sharper. I want you to keep your comments like that. Right on the money. Nice, brevity, sharp, good.
I don't know what to say about that.
This is a good one.
No, I had one, but I'm not going to say it. It's just too good.
Wait a second. There's
No, can't say it. Can't say it.
I feel like we're interrupting Mars right now. He's kind of really stuck in the movie. So you really
Yeah, I'm watching the movie. I'm appreciating the movie. I'm enjoying it. It's not
No,
bad.
that's not. If you want to appreciate the movie, you do that on your own time. You're supposed to be doing commentary.
I'm doing commentary, but I'm listening to what you guys saying too.
You're supposed to be listening to us. You're supposed to be making commentary.
Dude, I don't want to interrupt one person at a time, right? Yeah, our boy Thor has got his butt whooped. You'd figure his face would be totally damaged, right? But they can't.
Knocked out.
It's going to take a bit.
Benoit right here.
Of course, they got to show him like that.
That's for the ladies.
Of course. But 1 second is more than enough for us guys.
There you go. He got his
Breastplate on.
Well, you did so good. We're gonna let you hang with the Hulk for some reason. How did he actually? Why did he get to go here?
Like what? Like this. Big, green. Stupid. Oh, always all.
That's his thing, man. He's always Hulk, man. As opposed to
This is giving us the classic Hulk.
21. How'd you arrive here? Quinjet. Yes. Where is the Quinjet now?
in the comics, it's like people prefer a Hulk to be smart, not going back to Banner, so.
Oh, what's the name? Peter David wanted him to be like in the first 6, so he's always changing. And there's a scene for you, Mars, again. So, but they like the idea that he's always changing, whereas he only always changed because Stan was struggling to figure him out. So ultimately, the struggle, the less smarter Banner, the sort of the tragedy of Bruce Banner sort of thing was what worked, made Hulk almost the second favorite character of Marvel. And then at some point, a little bit of struggle as far as the Hulk was going. Next thing you know, Peter David said he's a character of change. And he made many versions of the Hulk, which they're doing even now. They got the Immortal Hulk. You can see that effect throughout. So.
Cal, which type of the Hulk now is the one that's selling in the comics?
The Immortal Hulk.
No, but I'm saying that's the one who's intelligent. He doesn't have Banner, right?
It's not. I can't give that to you in a soundbite. Suffice to say that this is not a dumb Hulk. This is a Hulk who does have a higher degree of intelligence. The Immortal Hulk.
Smash you. Just didn't smash anything. I won that fight. I smashed you. Yeah, sure. What? Big time.
No, the Hulk that Peter David actually restored to people was the Hulk of the very first 6 issues of the Incredible Hulk series, where he wasn't necessarily a genius, but he was very cunning. Okay, he had this sinister edge to him, where even though Rick was around, and Rick, he was like, "No, Rick, you're good with me." Rick was still kind of like, I don't know, this guy he seems like he could turn at any second. That's what Peter David actually restored to the character, along with a bunch of psychological drama in terms of where his mind was at, because to be frank, it's a split personality or multiple personality disorder when you're dealing with the Hulk. And I mean, some stories have decided, look, we're just going to do some closer classic Hulk stuff where, Hulk smash, he gets angry, he's just this really uncontrollable force of nature. And then you have the stories sort of like the Immortal Hulk, where they really want to play on the monster aspect and the psychological, the multiple personality disorder and that type of stuff, which is where they are right now with the film. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure where the film Thor comes down on it. And because the Hulk was reduced to a supporting character for almost after his second film, it's very hard to establish where exactly the character is.
Well, one of the issues that the Hulk has always had is that the same thing Stan struggled with was early on, you get rid of Banner. So Banner's like, he shows up for brief moments when you can't deal with effects, but at the same time, that's the key part of the Hulk struggle, is having Banner in there. And you can see some of the more popular stories, there's almost no Banner in the stories. So
yeah, it's all about the Hulk.
It kind of kills it. That's when you get to World War Hulk. There's barely any Banner, and it's just so total revenge sort of thing, but it's a popular sort of story. So having that mix is what fans always go to, or writers, pros almost always go to having more just Hulk, no Banner, which that's what Stan struggled with when he had at least a good mix of Banner. That's what made the comic book successful. So.
Well, the Immortal Hulk
Isn't that like that's any character that has that dominant alter ego as opposed to the secret identity. It's I just find that to be across the board that people tend to struggle with that. I mean, Superman, they had to mandate that Clark Kent had to appear on a certain number of pages. They had to mandate it, because if not, they said we may never see this guy.
Well, one of the hard things with the Hulk, obviously, was that Stan's answer to the sales was get rid of Banner. It was more Hulk and Rick Jones, which we haven't seen in the Marvel Universe yet. And I would say it would be fun if he came into this, he wrote out him in this, and then later they had the Rick Jones and the Bucky Barnes meet, and they're the same character, Sebastian Stan. But they'll never do that.
I don't know. It would be nice to see Rick Jones on the TV series. I mean, he would definitely be the character that serves we could bridge a lot of characters together, since they seem to like to do that with in the Marvel universe, have that character that can interact with a whole bunch of other ones. But yeah, I haven't seen him as of yet.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be such a big character.
Notice he went to Mardi Gras. He has all the beads from the chicks and whatnot. Let's not forget that right there. So this whole scene was a bunch of gags.
Well, they did to Thor what Thor ended up doing to what is this cat's name again? Star-Lord at the end of Endgame.
Another gag. We should do a drinking game.
She's thick-headed that you can't tell when someone's hiding all the way across the universe and must be left alone.
We need to talk.
No, you want to talk to me.
I need you to stay. Please.
Oh,
She gonna try that thing again? She gonna shock him?
No, she's not going to try that again. She's going to deal with Hulk.
more liquor.
Until this is empty.
That's the Planet Hulk gin that she's taking right there. No.
This much I will give to Tessa Thompson. Tessa Thompson did a solid English accent and she's an American actress, as opposed to seeing the reverse happen too often.
I'm going to stop that.
Alone?
Nope. I'm putting together a team. It's me, you, and the big guy. It's me and you.
I think it's only you.
Now this is also throwing together the great Walt Simonson's Thunder Frog story, where Thor has to build up the frogs to fight against the rats, and it's not played for a joke at all. But there's humor in it, of course, because Thor is a big bullfrog. But he builds up their strength in his voice, and that's one of the things where you see he's truly worthy in this thing. But of course, he was a frog.
Of course.
Oh, secrets, the whole golden shell.
I agree.
Don't get familiar.
That's why
Another blade.
This isn't about crowns, people, and they're dying, and they want people too.
Forget it.
Do you think he's worried at all by those blades? Not at all.
I'm just saying the usage of blades in this movie.
Thank you.
And extension, the blades that extend.
Didn't see that, did you? Better. You know, go ahead. Stay here and enslave people.
You do know Tessa Thompson is part Panamanian, right?
Me.
I know you would know that.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, it explains how she's able to be in movies.
Another gag.
It explain how she's able to be in these movies? I don't understand.
Because we're naturally magnetic personalities.
Nice. Color's a little body for me in this for the city. Wow, isn't that convenient?
Yes, it is.
Now we got more Flash Gordon music. But they let us know this was going to be this in the trailer, of course.
They let us know that it was going to be Flash Gordon in the trailer.
With the cheese, the music, the dun, 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 all that stuff is trying to be like, hey, we're kind of like, you know, if movies sort of hint at certain things, they're trying to say to us that, hey, this is going to have a lot of those elements.
Well, what I usually think is that whoever comes on board as director has to have a certain belief in the film. You either get a Richard Donner who's saying, look, we don't need to make people believe this is real. We just need people to believe in the world that we're creating. You know, so you want to go have, you know, some verisimilitude, as was the phrase he liked to use, and you were fine. Then you have other directors, and they're like, look, I don't believe any of this stuff. But if we can throw some gags in here and keep people laughing, I think I can get through this. And so you got Thor Ragnarok. You got Thor Ragnarok.
But it feels like it's so far
Why
it's like
does
a
the
bunch
Hulk
of
have
different
great temples? Why does he have great temples?
I need you to help me out, okay? I need you
He looks like he have a bad dye job. He's getting angry and changing back.
He misses Black Widow that much.
Gets him angry and changes back. The first.
It's bringing back memories, and he's had mental. One of the things with the Hulk that we have to remember is the Hulk is emotionally unstable. That's where he gets the changes from Banner to the Hulk. But once you have the emotional stability, it's either going to be Banner or the Hulk. So with that, so he sees Nat again. That brings the emotional, instability, and we have to change.
It's the city, Sokovia. Everything
And
right?
the least Banner-looking person on the planet.
What are you saying?
It might as well be Ben Grimm.
But he owns that's his role now.
He doesn't own it. He's like, he was our Bruce Banner. He was. When he came into the casting, he was Bruce Banner, even though he looks like Ben Grimm.
There's something you should know.
He owns the role now, buddy.
Strongest Avenger.
He's pitching new Hulk stories for the shows and for the movie.
Yeah.
He owns it.
Ooh, face on face.
Yeah, about that.
So the Hulk has multiple personalities, basically what we're saying.
Well, he
no.
does, but at the same time, that's been kind of disapproved to turn it to dissociate disorder. So we're not even sure that's
What was
apply.
When Peter David got on the book, the sales were pretty low, and they let him do what he wanted to do. And Peter David is this guy who was very much into, who read a lot and was into things that were popular. And the idea of multiple personalities or multiple personality disorders was something that was popular at the time, at least, within certain medical journals. So he tapped into that for the Hulk. And he was exploring this personality, that personality. Does the Hulk necessarily have that? Not. It depends on who's writing it, to be quite honest. Because for most people, it's just Banner in the Hulk, and then you get something like the Immortal Hulk, where he's got all these different Hulk personalities, and it can get really wild.
Funky switch from reflection to real life.
Now that's the mindset that I'm in, and you know who I'm blaming? Grandma said, "Hey, don't interrupt me."
Back to the body stuff.
Why are you handing me the milk stick? He was interrupting. That's not a capital violation.
Look how cheesy that supposedly Kirby-esque thing is behind them. They're insulting the king.
I thought it was a very good scene. He's so hilarious.
You're talking about the throne?
These guys, these freaking soldiers.
You said the Kirby-esque
like GoBots.
Okay. You're talking behind. Okay, you mean behind Loki and Valkyrie?
Yeah, all of them. They're all cheese. It hurts.
Now I'll settle for this sweet little. Who's gonna get him first? So, while you're on the clock, what have you done?
I don't answer to you, Lucky.
It's Loki, and you will answer to the Grandmaster. Why would you help my
Here we
wife
go.
escape with that green fool?
I don't help anyone.
I'll cut you. I'll cut you.
You're a Valkyrie.
Oh, wow, I'm looking for that tattoo.
Everybody seems to be able to see it when they're.
Choose your next words wisely.
I'm terribly sorry. Must be a very painful memory.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, this is a great scene. Isn't this from the comics?
No.
We get to the real Valkyrie. She's somewhere in here. More blades. Look at all those blades.
The real Valkyrie, PD. Come on. Was that
She's gonna die? You're gonna see her. There she goes. Notice that? Where is she? She's somewhere in here.
Yep, there she is, right there, dead.
I thought we had a scene where when it's coming up. There we go. She's like, "Nah, get out the way, chick." There she goes. Oh,
that's horrible.
that's how Tessa came and took over the role.
It wasn't because she's part Panamanian. Why is Loki always getting his ass whooped by everybody?
They're trying to take him down the peg since he kind of has a step over. And, he's always one step ahead. This one, he's a couple steps behind.
He acts like a douche a lot, but I'm saying everybody takes a piece of it. In this movie, we already had Thor, Hulk, Grandmaster, Tessa Thompson. Come on.
He's a trickster god. Trickster gods aren't really known for being good fighters.
This is supposed to be Tony Stark's clothing.
The god, he should have more powers than her. He should at least be. May not be as strong as Thor, but he should be definitely stronger than her.
He's a god as well. She's a Valkyrie.
Banner may never come back, and we're stranded on a planet that is designed to stress me out.
We're not stranded. I'm going to figure out a way to get us home.
Thank you.
Still upset with that he never showed up during Infinity War.
Who?
For being who also happens to be my sister.
Oh,
what are you talking about? Oh, come on. Let's not even talk about that.
That's a family issue.
She's an evil being.
yes, sir, Petey. I do as I'm told.
I'm not fighting any more beings. I'm sick of it. I just told you, if I turn into the Hulk, I am never going to come back again. Are you there?
No. I'm putting together the team. The Hulk is the fire.
Wait, you're just using me to get to the Hulk.
Look, you're just totally engrossed. So, public, Mars here.
I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed the first time. I had problems, issues, like I said before.
What
but
issues?
hey, it's a standalone. It's a standalone film. Outside of this, it's enjoyable. I mean, there's tons of joke. There's great fight scenes.
Yeah, but it doesn't really do anything for you, does it, Mars?
It doesn't. It does to me. It doesn't give a good account of the whole weave into the whole MCU narrative. Like I said, my whole thought was, they bring Hela in. She is going to be the new personification of death. She would be the reason why Thanos kills everybody, and that didn't come out. So that was probably my biggest disappointment in the whole thing, because I was like, how are they going to explain why Thanos does what he does? He wants balance to the world.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Maybe the fact that I was trapped for 2 years.
Now,
inside of a
he's
box.
totally not trying to be the character he was in that first Avengers film. He's just himself now.
Well, isn't the same thing with who played the blue person in the X-Men, the one who now, instead of being blue all the time, decided that she wanted to be her regular self.
No, I'm talking about the personality, not how they look. He was kind of trying to be like, a little more towards the science angle and whatnot.
Right, but I was talking about the actress who played in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, what about her?
I'm saying the fact that she never, in her contract, she didn't want to be this Mystique blue all the time, It
I'm
kind of
saying
takes
when
away.
you saw Bruce Banner, I'm not talking about the look.
I know what you're talking
The
about.
whole.
I'll just put my point across. That's it, sir. My apologies. I'll drop it down. But you understand what I'm saying, right? Right, T Money?
No, I don't.
Oh, screw you too, then.
You want to? Well, hey, I don't know what you're talking about.
What's with the?
Smartest guys.
I can see your face.
Yeah, looks nice. I like it. Dip it up, chain it. Wants to maybe.
What are those things on her eyes? Are those people that she's killed? She's so beautiful and strong.
Who is this guy?
I'm Fred.
I feel like I know you.
This can't be this engrossing. Nobody's got anything left to say.
Well,
Right, it's just here that we're saying that she doesn't know this is Banner. This is the Hulk,
Trying to forget my past.
As usually, you can't see for sure whether it is.
we're getting on with the plot. We're moving this along. Too many gags.
What's the problem with gags? You keep pushing them out. Is there a problem with the gags? I think the gags are great.
Oh my God. Double dumbass on you.
So I'm saying that I want to be on the team. Has it got a name?
It's going to be Revenges.
The Revengers?
Revengers? What the hell is that?
You know what it is. It's the
Revengers was the group that we created back when we were in grade school.
I wasn't in grade school with you, remember?
No, you weren't in grade school with us. You came in late when you finally immigrated.
Didn't immigrate then.
Yeah, it was Dennis, Eddie, Colin, and me making comics, and that was one of the groups that we had made up. They were all just analogs. They were all just analogs of Marvel stuff. We, instead of the Fantastic Four, we had the Fabulous Four. Instead of the Avengers, we had the Revengers. Stuff like that. That's who the Revengers are.
I never heard this part of the story. I just heard the deck. That's all.
Hey, don't sleep. Deck.
It's your fault, because obviously the only way you put the names together would work putting the D in the front. And you're the reason.
I didn't make up the name. I always thought I got last place because I was the last person to meet. Everybody else knew each other. They had already been like second and third grade together, and I didn't meet everybody until fourth grade. So I always thought that's how I got last place on the list.
Wasn't it because juvie was hard?
Oh my gosh.
But I'm glad you're one of us now.
Oh my gosh.
If I'm not being confused with the DCEP, it's juvie. All right, thank you. Who goes to juvie in the fourth grade?
Yo, it was hard back then in Brooklyn.
I may even have stolen the access codes to his security system.
That must be shitty to have to, excuse my French.
Whoa, this is a family show, bro. What you doing?
Thinking about going into juvie in junior high school when you run. All right, they finally slowed down this movie. It's funny. This is great. All the beginning was like rushing through these scenes. And they finally decided, we need to slow this down.
No, they just had to explain things, so that's why they slowed things down. And this is where I think the movie did slow down and lost some people. I think, again...
It was too hyper. You couldn't even... But the scene changed.
We want to see scene after scene after scene after scene,
For the attention deficit society?
What?
Yeah.
What did you just say?
Yeah, for the attention deficit society.
No, it's for a modern society that is so busy doing a lot of other things that they can't just do one thing.
And that's why they use maybe 5 to 6 stories in one story.
They didn't want you to figure out everything.
I'm looking for Core.
Who's asking? I know you're asking. Is there anyone else asking, or is it just you?
The Lord of Thunder sends his best.
The revolution has begun.
Revolution? How did this happen?
Then
Oh, he's still in this movie?
He's the Grand Master.
Oh, I don't like that word.
Mainframe.
No. Why would I not like mainframe? No, the yes word.
Sorry, the prisoners with jobs have armed themselves.
Okay, that's
Flash Gordon. How do you...
There we go. We got Baby Ray Bill there and the By Beast.
I disagree.
And I'd like to say I am not a big fan of the By Beast as a Thor villain.
Been quite the revelation since we last spoke.
Brothers are back in tow, bro.
Ray guns. Can't get any more dull. And then them hiding, they're gods.
It's almost poetic that his death.
But going to your thing, Loki is like, he's nobody. He's a trickster god. He
Who's
doesn't have
thing? To my thing?
My bad. Cal's thing.
No, you're asking why he's losing all of these fights. Even in the comics, Loki is not this great fighter. He's a trickster. He gets over with his magic. You corner him, and he pretty much gets, he gets beat up.
Captain America couldn't take him on.
Captain America's immortal.
That's the point I'm trying to say.
He's not fighting anymore. He's not fighting any mortals here.
I thought the world knew.
Valkyrie is not a mortal, and the Hulk is definitely not a mortal.
It seems like you have an anti-Loki bias, person.
It seems like you're in that Loki trough. You need to get off.
Now this is a big scene coming up here.
Yeah. It's probably for the best that we never see each other again. That's what you always wanted. Hey, let's do get help. What? Get help? No. Come on, you love it. I hate it. It's great. It works every time. It's humiliating. Do you have a better plan? No. We're doing it. We are not doing get help. Still hate it. It's humiliating. No, not for me, it's not. Now which one's the show?
Oh, you have being thrown around like a piñata. Of course you like it.
Though I feel they won't make much of a difference. I know I've betrayed you many times before, but this time it's truly nothing personal. The reward for your capture will set me up nicely. Never one for sentiment, were you? Easier to let it burn. I agree.
Now, wasn't that supposed to be connected to his body?
Whose body?
Moving. We got to keep moving.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to, but I think they left it on.
See, Loki, life is about growth, it's about change, but you seem to just want to stay the same. What I'm trying to say is that
you're so predictable, Loki.
But you could be more.
At least Thor won a couple of these with Loki.
So, good luck, guys. I should figure this out. It's just another spaceship.
And this is the classic. We gotta crash into some stuff.
Royal Sicarians. Lord of Thunder has stolen my ship and my favorite champion. Sicarians, take to the skies. Bring him down. Do not let him leave this planet.
Oh yeah, got some help.
See, and they foreshadowed that because we saw her at the very beginning when she meets Thor. You know, she's practicing using that on the people who were capturing Thor.
Shooting back or something?
Yes, we should. Where are the guns on the ship?
No, Daddy. It's a leisure vessel. What? Grandmaster uses it for his good times, orgies and stuff.
Did you just say that Grandmaster uses it for orgies?
Yeah. Don't touch anything.
They can let the jokes happen. They're natural. They're good actors.
Yeah, but you know, the thing for me when I saw this scene is that, you know, here it is. Thor, I'm just so used to him flying and utilizing his hammer, Magillinar, that I'm just thrown off.
You, doesn't it? You don't like it.
It's like him in a plane, driving a plane. It's like, this is not Thor.
Yes. Finally. Mars is coming around.
Why don't he just fly? You know?
So they were, you know, they're iffy on the. They won't mostly like the hammer is connected to the flight part.
Yeah, thanks.
It's a comic book. It's a cartoon. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, the classic blow up and stuff like that. It's a different world. And they're all going after them. Banner's doing that. Here, of all people, not Banner, but Valkyrie has to come up, move the turret, and then turn it towards the bad guys.
A little bit of Star Trek Into Darkness, hopping around from ship to ship.
Not even close. Not even close. You cannot quote that movie.
Which I just did.
And I take it back.
Oh, here we go. Joke. Here comes the joke. Well, at least it had some effects. Wow, it worked out.
Yes, it did.
Oh, I think we moved. We kind of skipped over all the heavy plot.
What do you mean by that?
Because what are they doing right now? They're going into this thing.
They're trying to get out. They're trying to escape.
What is this thing?
That's what brings all the garbage there.
I'll check it out of here.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, what's this? Thank you. Hey, man, we're about to jump on that ginormous spaceship. You want to come?
Well, you do seem like you're in desperate need of leadership.
Why, thank you.
You're in desperate need of leadership.
Here we go.
What's the name going to the spaceship? They're going into the trash compactor?
Oh, yeah.
How the ship? Oh, this one has a shield on it, right? So they can do this.
Have to have shield because it would probably crash or get destroyed with that.
Yeah, okay. This is one of the few things where the shield holds up.
Mm-hmm.
In Star Trek, they like to hit the ship into everything possible.
Doesn't Hela realize how dubious he is as the executioner is as a follower?
She just needed him to be there for one scene. It's coming up. There we go. Fenris. That's what I've been waiting for.
That would cow anybody.
He looks a lot bigger there than he did in that mural.
You.
They didn't have enough room to add all of. Oh, look at the vein popping out of his head. He's upset.
Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh man, he's the executioner. He has an execution anymore. You gotta execute.
Well, execution.
See? She said it.
Wait. I know where the sword is.
Don't do it. That's worse. It's worse giving her the sword. Let them chop the people.
Takashi 6'9".
You know they can't do that. You got to give up the sword and hope for the best that somebody's going to come and
Gotta cut the people's heads off.
right the wrong.
Oh, little Star Trek effect of falling asleep after going through whatever that thing was. Where are we? Did we make it out? Are we alive? No, we're in the black hole. Oh, they made it.
I detect just a whinge of sarcasm there, Petey.
Do you?
You guys,
Just a bit, just a taste.
I don't know. I'm not
you
really
guys ever,
bad.
you guys ever plane flying into Asgard?
Get yourself killed.
The people trapped out.
Say what?
While I'm dealing with
A spaceship. Do you guys ever remember it being flown into Asgard?
Let's do that.
Come on, you know it's not set up the same way. It's not.
Do I ever- Are you
bro.
asking from from comics? Do I ever remember a plane being flown into Asgard?
Yes.
Spaceship.
She's here.
Well, I gotta agree with Petey. It's not set up the same way. There's no rainbow bridge that you could fly a plane to like that. It just doesn't happen.
So the answer is no, it's not there.
Hey, it could have happened. I never read the issue, but to the best of my knowledge, I just don't recall a scene going like that. I mean, but mind you, stuff is showing up in Asgard, and you're like, how the hell did he get there?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Like Galactus will show up, and you're like, how in the world did Galactus get here?
You know what I mean?
Oh, this is the what's the name? What's that? Harrison Ford, the Han Solo. I gotta go. I'm leaving. No, I'll be back in the last minute. Oh no, his past against the real past. The made up stuff for the movie.
Yeah, he sees her with the hammer.
More blades. Ooh.
Hela is looking for something.
Why didn't? Well, yeah, she said she wants to get the sword. She got the information. She's going for it. But I'm getting the rest of these people out. Don't you
hurry.
say it again. Don't you dare.
So, I mean, is it the entire population of Asgard took off, or was it just a certain portion of them? Because I assumed that she wanted to rule somebody.
Yeah, but it's not going to work out. Here you go. That's another Mars scene. Wow. Look who's back. Now we get Walt Simonson's other story. But ultimately the story was for Thor to bring the souls, get the souls out of hell.
It's all Simonson. It's just not Simonson.
Four or five, his whole run, everything except Beta Ray Bill, and put it in one movie. Criminal.
They put Beta Ray Bill in the movie already, bro. We're gonna need another one.
The headshot?
Yep.
You never knew him. Not at his best. Odin and I drowned entire civilizations in blood and tears. Where do you think all this gold came from? And then, one day, he decided to become a benevolent. Lost a piece to protect me.
And she has a headdress on, and she doesn't have the headdress on. I mean, what is she doing?
She's trying to talk with him. She talks without the headdress. She fights with the headdress.
Worst.
Okay, get up. You're a mess.
I like the way she does that. Like, bow.
Yeah,
Father wants to open. The wise king never seeks out war.
But must always be ready for it.
Wow. Trying to get all these people. They've had to have figured this out at this point. Oh no.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Harriet.
You blew it. But he should have been able to see it. He has sight beyond sight.
Unless, of course, the Fenris was just magically teleported there. Hey, don't worry. I got faith. Harriet never lost a passenger. He should be okay.
One of those Asgardians look like Harley Quinn. All right.
It's a good fight.
I like the sword when it was like,
I'm Odin's first.
the Odin sword was beyond, it was huge. When Odin would become a mighty warrior.
So simple. Even a blind man could see it. Now you remind me of Dad.
Yeah. We should go to the Simon story where Thor's entire face was ripped apart.
Yeesh.
We need a lot of effects later, so we got to delay some stuff, delay the Hulk. That's like the sword from Crow. Anyone, y'all seen Crow?
Of course you saw Crow. It's one of the movies we grew up watching. We all watch Crow. I was like, why didn't you just knock him off the bridge?
It's trying to do a bit from that Hulk movie. All right. Oh, she didn't get that. Took her that long. All right. I'll be back. What are you doing?
She got Thor now.
No one's
Eyes. Did she bust his eye open or what?
going to kill every single one of them to do it.
She wants to rule, but if nobody's there, how do you rule? You know, this is one of the big promises with sometimes of villains. You know, hey, you want to win, you have to at least keep some of the people there, not just terrorize all of them, just to terrorize them. It doesn't make any sense.
Hey, man. I'm cool. This is me. We're going to jump on that spaceship and get out of here. Want to come?
Uh-oh, what's going to come through the fog? It's Hela. Oh, no. Was it Hela or was it Loki? It's like Loki there. Yep, it's Loki. You're getting on the ship. I mean, what is this? Is this the whole populace of Asgard? What's your take on that? What do you think, Hal?
The whole populace of Asgard?
Yeah.
Yes, your guess is as good as mine.
Because
What did I miss?
You didn't miss anything.
Mars is asking, do you think all the people there represent the entire populace of Asgard? I was like, your guess is as good as mine. I guess as many people as they could fit on a bridge, I suppose.
Now, this eye thing, right? I don't really feel they didn't put enough thought into what's going on with the eye.
You'll see only half the picture.
It just
It's too strong. Without my hammer.
just blotted out.
Are you Thor, the god of hammers?
And he's doing jokes.
That hammer is to help you control your power, to focus it. It's never your source of strength.
No, that's not it.
This is the exact moment that happened in the Thunder Frog story. But Thor had saved the day, and he just needed to figure out how he's going to get back to Asgard to stop Loki.
Right? The hammer is a weapon. It's not a conduit for his power. Hate when they say anything other than that. Okay, it's a weapon only he can use.
No. You're stronger.
Good grief. You got to have Thor over here getting inspirational talk from Mr. Miyagi before he goes back and finishes up the match.
Right. Had to have him do something, Odin.
You, the god of again.
Here we go.
Yeah, that took too long. Hey, call me when they play Immigrant Song.
Oh my gosh! What for that other scene with the slow mo? Come on.
Hey, that's a great tune and a nice scene.
Yeah, but he like I made him to hit. I need to just hit the floor, not sit around with the slow mo. Well, at the end, yeah, I need that to happen a little quicker.
Hey, you didn't tell me anything. Yeah, there we go.
It was right there. You were right there. I didn't know you left.
No, I was leaving. I had to turn around. Coming from the land of the
my
ice and
gosh.
snow.
And then he stops doing all this stuff.
Yeah, Endgame. Endgame, he was like, hey, I need a hammer.
Yeah, I forgot they had the sparkle effect from the sex mobile.
Once he was back to Endgame, he was like, hey, I need my hammer. I need a hammer.
I need a hammer so I can share with my buddy over there.
Loki with his knives. Go, baby.
Helmet. He's got his helmet he's flipping around, using it as a weapon. Just keep doing that. Just use the lightning on all of them.
Yeah, that's the way it should be done.
Yeah, dude, wipe the whole thing of them out. And this guy's like, what am I going to do? I blew it. Totally one of those moments where we got to force feed a scene in from the comics.
Well, he had second thoughts, bro.
Why? Because his team is losing?
I think he was having second thoughts from the very beginning, like, yo, this chick seems crazy.
It's a little late.
Well, it's a little late, but that's what happened. Oh, no, Fenris is gone. Hulky, don't go.
Hulk will be fine. He can leap up to 3
Look,
miles.
I'm breaking out. That's what I want to see from him.
Dudes, I don't think this is going to turn out good for you guys.
I think we should disband the Avengers.
Why?
We just need to hold her up until everyone's on board.
Can't the three of them take her?
It doesn't seem so.
Well, why should, I mean, he just had this Odin power reinvigorate him. He shouldn't need anybody, right?
Well, that's not the Odin power.
But he's stronger than Odin. Odin just said he was stronger.
Yeah, Odin said he was stronger, but that's like his own stuff. He didn't. I never really even saw the Odin power with Odin. I mean, the comics, the Odin power is a big deal. Okay, this is like creation type power at the end of the day. We never see that here.
This is not a good plan, Thor. Not a good plan. Oh no, wait, this is the movie, so you can do this plan. Sorry, you can totally do this plan now because it's not the same deal. You're just burning up this area, not the entire 9 realms.
Just a hint of sarcasm.
No, I had to correct myself. I was wrong.
Just a pinch. Just a pinch.
Here we go. Oh no, she's back to being super strong. Stronger than everybody. I don't think Odin did anything when he was taking over all those worlds. It was just her.
Well, that's not what we saw. It was him in the frost lands of the frost giants and stuff like that.
Well, at least Loki's listening. Yes, Executioner, wimp out.
Preservation is very key.
They're not gaining any ground.
Ooh. Yeah, that was something there. It's like, you ain't getting away from me. Get your butt back.
Don't worry, you'll use that later. You get that later, buddy.
Do it.
Thor didn't get rid of all those guys?
No, he can't get rid of all those guys.
He's the Executioner got the same disguise as Thor had. No one complained about it.
Well, the Execution, all you need to do is get hair.
Oh, we gotta steal the scene. That not as poignant as it was in Simonson's Run.
What? that they use in this film from Simonson that was as poignant in Simonson's run. None of it.
It's like the same complaint, like the way it's like the writers of comics would struggle with Saturday morning cartoons. It's like we're just gonna force fit this thing in here.
That was better. The Saturday morning cartoons at least got the bits. At least they got the bits that they used correct. They may not have been able to do the whole thing, but it still was like, oh yeah, this was good. And they gave you little, and they also gave you little stuff that you could say, oh, that was cool. Look, we got to see Black Panther climbing on top of the spaceship.
Did you see that fake death? Ugh.
With the eternal flame, you are reborn.
I think Odin would come into Thor's head and say, I don't like this idea of burning down Asgard to save everything.
You can't defeat me.
No, I know. But he can.
But didn't Thor defeat him? No, he got the sword now. I'm sorry. I gotta correct myself. Just jump over the bridge, Hela. Just go. Get on the plane with the Asgardians. Apologize.
The people are safe. That's all that matters.
So depressing.
I hate this prophecy.
So do I, but we have.
Yeah, I hate it too.
This movie was so successful that they basically are going to do a second one, right? So
How?
no matter,
Can't do a second one.
of course they do. Well, there's the director. They got him to do a second one. So
No, you mean he's gonna do a second film. They can't do a second one of this. There's no
right,
Ragnarok.
but what the point I'm trying to make is they're going to do a second one with him, Thor, and the director. Big monster.
It's so depressing. Oh, she's going for hers. Ooh, look at this stuff she pulled out. We see. Just get on the plane with the rest of them. We don't.
She ain't going on a plane. She's battling it out.
No, come on. Just take the helmet off, put the hair, and just get on the plane with the rest of them.
And the whole population of Asgard is on that one ship. One lonely ship.
That I would have to say that's the surviving population, because other than that, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, what happens to this doesn't make even more sense afterwards. And that's it. It seems like the 9 realms are destroyed. Is that your interpretation?
That's that island.
No, the nine realms can't be destroyed because they went to one of the 9 realms later on in Avengers: Infinity War.
That's true. That's true. So Asgard is destroyed.
Yeah, they went to go have the new hammer made in Svartalfheim. So,
right, I agree with you. I remember the dwarf from what do you call him? Dwarf. Yeah.
Oh, brother. Had to go there with it, huh? Who's drinking? Is it homegirl? No, it's Thor.
Thor's very fine with his drinks, clearly.
Maybe you're not so bad after all, brother. Maybe not.
How many times has he said that?
If you're here, I might even give you a hug. I'm here.
to go from that moment to the 2 seconds after this. I'm bringing you your king, homegirl.
Hey, they're playing the music for you, Pete.
This is
this is what drives me nuts. Here, we got the whole crew back together again. You know?
Hey, Petey, how you liking that music?
This isn't the cheesy music.
This isn't cheesy?
This ain't cheesy as the other stuff.
You don't hear that 70s synthesizer organ?
Suggestions?
Thing is packed with cheese.
You see the football scene of what's the name? Of Flash Gordon, which as a kid was an amazing scene. I loved it.
So here it is. We see the scene, and there's a lot of hope. And of course,
it ends on a positive note of all that terrible stuff.
Yeah, with hope that they're gonna find a new thing, hope that they have a new king, and they just totally ripped that whole hope away when Infinity War starts. Yep.
Like a classic sequel moment, just like Ghostbusters 2. Start, every good thing good happened, turn bad.
Or like Empire Strikes Back. Where they leave off destroying the Death Star. And Empire.
All three: Stan Lee, Larry Littler, and Jack Kirby.
Yeah, they all got credits.
Wow.
Guys, what's your take on it? Anything?
Well, I don't know about the two of you, but I can definitely say that was time well spent.
It sounds like sarcasm on your end.
Oh, just a touch.
There we go.
Anything else you want?
Well, we got other stuff coming. Regretfully, we can't just say it's over. Go out and watch it again with us. Listen, though, you better listen to it with us now.
Here's the deal. It's look, at the end of the day, you got some cheese and you had some good story ideas that were woven in as nothing more than plot devices to keep the story going. But at the end of the day, it's a fun romp, it's entertaining, and that's what people came for, and that's what people got. Now, if you're like us and you've read some of the stories that this came from, yeah, there's always going to be a part of your heart that pines to see that actualized on the screen. But if you were honest with yourself, you knew that was never going to happen, and you can enjoy this for what it was. And at the end of the day, it is an enjoyable, entertaining film.
I don't only have to say why I'm stressing the other. Oh, we got another scene. You can't say none over this.
Yeah, we can just talk over this.
Yeah, we can definitely talk over this.
I can talk over. All right, oh yeah, okay. So nothing happens here. So with this, the problem is that all those scenes, it's like what they say in Screw the Pooch, doing all those little, those big story moments as little bits, Simonson's big moments. You got at least 10 movies they could have done, maybe more.
They could have, but this is what they worked with. What did you tell me? The screenwriter. This is the idea that they came together with. How can we? The question is, could it have been improved? I think. Yeah, it's a good thing, but it is. And look at the size of that ship there.
It just looks like a mean version of the Star-Lord ship.
Yeah. And there it is. Yeah, it's an enjoyable movie. I liked it. Seeing it again, and anybody who's not a hardcore comic book fan would definitely enjoy it. They won't find the same type of faults that we have with it. But despite all the shortcomings that it had, it's an enjoyable film. It's funny, it's lighthearted. You have some of your favorite Marvel characters coming in and out of the film. And then also what's most important, helps to set up.
The other Thor was Luke. Oh. It was Chris Helmsworth's brother, Luke Helmsworth.
What about him?
They had in the credits. He was the actor who played Thor in Asgard.
Oh, that was him? That's funny.
Luke Helmsworth.
That's cool. So, gents, you guys ready to sign up?
Music right here. This doesn't get any more cheesy than this. This is
It is what it is. That's what we did. So, you guys ready to sign out? Cal, you have anything to say? Peter, you have to say anything to say?
We got 10. Isn't there another scene at the end?
Is there?
There could be.
There's usually two, right?
You're just trying to run out. What do you got to do?
What time is it, Petey?
It's almost 8 o'clock. Not that anybody needed to know.
Oh, I get what you're trying to say.
I didn't say the time. You said it.
But you asked me, but you didn't mean to ask me. You meant it rhetorically. I get it now. Just 5 minutes.
You can't just speed it. You can't speed it up so we can get there a little bit faster. We got
5 minutes. You got to go through it. All these people that worked hard to get their name in the credits.
He's an industry guy, so he wants to, take the time to go through all this stuff. Most people just fast forward.
Stuck here, getting ready for another scene, right? It's only right if you're stuck watching it.
Right? Did you enjoy it? I didn't hear your thing on it.
Me?
Yeah.
It was. I don't know. It was too many jokes. I can see how people could enjoy it, but it was kind of like a lot of missed opportunities and stories that I like and I saw like shortened into one fun bit, and that kind of is hard for me.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Producers would like to recognize Walt Simonson for a significant contribution to the film. Also, Greg Pak, and oh man, I missed all the rest of them. Have to roll back. It's another 5 minutes, guys. But they had to give Walt Simonson a special credit. Because though he didn't create most of those characters, he did amazing moments with them.
And it's like everybody's on it, man.
It's towards the end. How much time?
Again,
3 minutes.
My favorite scene was definitely the one. I mean, just looking at the whole thing, my favorite scene. Yeah, I like the beginning is good, but my thing is when you have Hulk, when Hulk comes into the arena and Thor's like, "Yo, this guy's my friend."
Yeah, that was a good scene. That was definitely good.
Great scene.
Okay, we're into the last of these credits so we can see what the heck it was that we were waiting for.
Did we get screwed on this one? I can't remember. There's some of these Marvel movies we get screwed, like the ant playing the drums, that sort of stuff.
I never saw that one. Oh yeah. No, I remember it now, but I didn't see that one in the theater. I think I saw the first. Oh, it was tough. Those were in the days before you could go online and find out if there were any end credits, or if there was one or two. So I just stayed and I saw the first one. I think it was with my boy as well, and he was kind of like, I want to stay for the second one. So we just, we left.
What movie was that?
Ant-Man.
What movie was it?
First Ant-Man movie.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember it now. But the Ant-Man is doing its own thing.
I tell you, this music is, I mean, I don't know if it's, I'm remembering it or Petey's influence, but this is straight out of some Flash Gordon, straight out one of those Flash Gordon or 80s sci-fi films. Like even like the television stuff with those high synthesizer crescendos at the end of the day.
Yeah. And the colors.
Oh, the colors, man.
The colors.
Well, thankfully, I can't see too much of that since I'm just listening on my phone.
Thor themes. All right, we find out we got screwed for staying in here instead of going home.
We already know the answer to that.
Oh yeah, we got screwed. Well, at least we know what he was doing. This is what we didn't know, that this was going on with Jeff Goldblum all the time.
I gotta say, I'm proud of you all. This revolution has been a huge success. Yay us. Pat on the back. Pat on the back. Come on. No? Me too, because I've been a big part of it. Can't have a revolution without somebody to overthrow. So, you're welcome. And it's a tie.
It's a tie.
That's an actual scene from Jeff Goldblum's life of being stuck with a whole bunch of babes, even though he always played like the nerdy, geeky guy.
Or is it?
What can I say? They like the nerdy, geeky guy.
Nerdy, geeky, rich guy.
That too. That helps. The cash helps.
Yeah. Cash rule. So, we saw the last one. Petey, Cal, any final thoughts?
That's it.
Okay,
Yep, that's pretty much it.
So that was Spinnerak's audio commentary of...
More watch party.
Huh?
We talked over a lot.
Yeah. Okay, then watch party. Spinnerak, out.
Out.
So we're done, guys. Have a good one.